So today I will just give you some introductory session about this exam that you will be going through. Of course, the agenda of this session is firstly, we will discuss the strategic case study exam overview, the core activities. You will get to know now what are the core activities, the study materials we will use, what is the pre-scene. Pre-scene, of course, is not released yet, but I will just show you a sample of what a pre-scene looks like. And the exam structure, we will do some tips on how to pass this exam and the very important dates for this exam, and also where you can conduct, plus some frequent questions. So the exam overview, basically the strategic case study, as you must know by now, that is the final exam in the strategic level. So you have actually skipped the foundation level, operation level, management level, and you went straight to the strategic level and the final exam in the strategic level. Of course, the strategic level syllabus, usually it's include E3, which is strategic management, P3 risk management, and F3 financial strategy. Strategic management is about how to formulate the strategy, and risk management, obviously, you will analyze and manage the strategic and operational risks, and cyber risk. Of course, the cybersecurity is a major topic in CIMA, and they are really focusing on it, especially now everything is getting digitized. So it's very important, and there are some various sectors that they choose for pre-scenes. Actually, they have high cyber risks, which also you will be learning lots about cybersecurity. The financial strategy, also we will be going through topics related to strategy, evaluation of management financial risk, and of course assessing the organization values, which are very important for you to be able to answer nicely about it, to understand your organizational values. Of course, the E3, it's a major part, is a foundation part in the strategic case study exam. So you have to have strong knowledge in the strategic part. And now I will say what is this exam about is actually a role simulation. So you will simulate a role of a senior finance manager, where you will have to advise the management on different related decisions in terms of expansions, mergers, acquisitions, scenario planning, risks, controls. There are lots of business valuations, all these topics which will be addressed. You will have to advise the management. There will be 3 sections in a total of 3 hours. So each section will have 1 hour, which is equally weighed, like in terms of marking, it will be equal marks for each section. It will be provided, the pre-scene material, of course, in the exam, but basically you will have to memorize lots of facts of the pre-scene, because you will have no time actually to go to this pre-scene. They put it there, but definitely you will not have time to go. Time management is a very important part, which we will discuss also. And there are, as you know, 4 exam windows, which is November, February, which has the common pre-scene, and there is the May, August, which have the common pre-scene. Passing rates, like it's 70+% around pass from first attempt. So it's pretty high percentage for a professional examination like this. Of course, it's humanly marked because it's a written exam. The results will be available after 6 weeks from your exam. It will be pass and fail. The scale is from 0 to 150, meaning you have to score 80 and above to pass the exam. which is around 52%, you have to score in order for you to pass the examination. Now you also should understand this, that if you didn't pass one section, that doesn't mean that you won't pass the exam, because it's overall mark, which means that if you score high in some section and lower in other section, then it will balance and you will be able to pass your exam. So basically, if you face some issues in one section, you don't have to be demotivated. You should stay focused and try to achieve a higher score on the other section. Each section will have subtasks, which I will show you now how it looks like. Now, the core activities. What are the core activities? What's the meaning of the core activities? These are 5 core activities that you will be tested equally for. These are the core activities, which is how to develop a business strategy, how to evaluate business ecosystem and business environment, recommend financing strategy, evaluate and mitigate risk, and recommend and maintain a sound control environment. These are equally tested in the exam, plus minus in each section. So your exam must have each and every one of these core activities, and you will be tested in it. So now each activity will constitute of E3, P3, F3, like part of each of these 3 papers which you already passed and you didn't give exams in. And that's why we will be giving you the theoretical material, and which you will use just to be able to advise the management. It's not a material that questions will come, theoretical questions on it. No, it's just like a material which will help you advance your knowledge in this subject and be able to advise the management properly and be able to generate more points in the exam. So now these activities, first activity is how to develop business strategy. It will have multiple subjects under it, which is, firstly, you have to be able to evaluate the strategic options, digital and otherwise. You should be able to recommend the strategic decisions and, of course, the potential acquisitions and divestment opportunities. This is mergers, acquisitions, even investment opportunities. There are expansion opportunities, which I see that it's coming more in the exams than the acquisitions and mergers. I can see that it's coming how you want to, for instance, acquire a company yourself or expand into a business, buying another business. And this is how mostly the questions are coming. Responses to opportunities and threats arising from digital technologies. So you can see how much they are focusing on the digital technologies. Second one, which is how to evaluate the business ecosystem and business environment, which is you should be able to select and apply strategic analytical tools, which we will also be giving you. You should conduct the analysis of stakeholders. Stakeholder is also a big focus topic for CIMA. And this question about stakeholder, they like to bring mostly in the exams. Recommend responses to changes in the business ecosystem. KPIs, obviously, all of you know these things. And encourage sound strategic management. You can recommend responses to economic, political, and currency risks. So all is decision-making recommendations that you need to be able to give to the management. Now, thirdly is the recommend financing strategies that you, of course, sources of finance, depending on where your company stands in terms of debt and equity, in terms of need for financing, we will be going through the weighted average cost of capital and different things that will help you also be able to recommend which is the best source of financing. Dividend policy, something to also understand. It's not much commonly coming in the exams these days, but of course we cannot say that we have to go through each and every topic, because anything can come and anything can change. You will understand the dividend policies and apply the valuation models. Now the fourth activity is the evaluate and mitigate risk. You should be able to evaluate the risk and recommend the response for these risks. Ethical dilemmas also is very common in the exams, very common. I can see that there are lots of ethical dilemmas. And of course, while analyzing the pre-scene, once it's released, we will be focusing on because in every pre-scene, actually, CIMA, you feel they put some hints inside the pre-scene, which, because the trainer have long years of experience, can analyze these hints and understand where are the deficiencies that can cause eventually ethical dilemmas. And you will have to advise the management where is the breach of ethical standards happened, and recommend the suitable response to it. Of course, cyber also security is a very important topic. IT risks and cyber risks, these are topics that also commonly tested. Recommend internal controls, that is within that, evaluate and mitigate the risk. And the fifth and last activity is recommend and maintain a sound control environment. So you have to be able to apply the resources, internal audit resources. You have to recommend controls, of course, in terms of compliance and the implications. Recommend responses to threats arising from poor governance. Also, you will understand the full corporate governance throughout the training, the details of the issues, the unbalance in any governance or any missing positions, missing laws in the governance. All you will be able to understand once we analyze this pre-scene. Now, in terms of strategic case study, exam study material, so these are mainly the 20 topics that Berkeley study notes will address. And these topics will, of course, address all these 5 core activities. There are 5 core activities. They are all covered within these 20 unit topics and more. Of course, this material we keep updating in order for it to have each and everything that you require for the exam. Any topic that you would like to expand, this is for your own knowledge, you can expand from, but this material is more than sufficient for you. If you know it, you read it, go through it and understand it, then you will not need anything else. And we will be giving you some examples within the study notes of how questions come on this. These example questions that we will be putting, of course, they are not the current pre-scene. They are from previous pre-scenes, because the current pre-scene is not released yet. It needs maybe it will be released by 7th October. For us, of course, as institute, it will be released before, so we will do all the analysis questions, everything in advance. And for students, it will be released around 7th of October, where we will start then the pre-scene analysis, the core activities related to it, the questions, mini mocks, and then we will go expand to the main mocks. So, but for the study notes currently, we will give you examples from previous pre-scenes where you will get familiar with the questions and familiar of how the answers should look like, in order for you to connect the theoretical part of this material to the practical part. So this you will be starting today. itself, and you will be going through until the pre-scene gets released. So, of course, it will have the business models, stakeholders, as we said, which is a very important goals of the organization, formulation of strategy, drivers of change in the business ecosystem. Business ecosystem is very important to understand too. Big data and analytics. There are the ethical issues, ethical standards, how to formulate a new strategy, and evaluation of business and strategic options, how to compare your strategic options, how you will understand that, which models you need to use in order to evaluate your strategic options, and recommend accordingly. Dividend policy, controls and internal controls, audit, governance also is very important. Risks and foreign exchange risk. Also, there are common questions for the foreign exchange risk, and cyber risk management. So these are all the 20 units that you will be going through these coming weeks, together with the examples of how questions can come on these. So I advise you in your lecture plan, the units that the trainer is about to explain for the next session, they are numbered, so you have to see which unit you're going to get for next session, and I advise you just to read it through in order when the trainer start explaining, it will be more easier for you, and it will be like a second reading for you, which will help you get the material in your head in advance. So later on, you will focus only on the pre-scene. Now, what is included in the study material? Of course, the pre-scene case study, plus the full analysis, comprehensive analysis of all the financials, the controls, the risk, the governance, SWOT analysis, everything will be included in the pre-scene analysis. A very important thing also that will be included, and it's an important part, which is industrial familiarization. So we will get you familiar with the industry. The more you are familiar with the industry, the more you will be creative in the exam. Because if you read about the industry, knows what is going on now in this industry, then it will be really helpful for you to give a very practical answer to your questions, which will be received positively from the examiners. Kaplan, we use Kaplan case study analysis and combined with our own analysis, because Kaplan is also have good analysis for the pre-scene. There is the Berkeley study notes, which I discussed with you. And of course, there is the mock examinations. Mock examinations is very important for you to answer these questions. I always stress on this from the first class, but unfortunately, some people feel the wrong feel of safety, that they just read the answers and they feel that these answers they can answer, where practically if they try to answer by themselves, it will be totally different. So I will really advise you that you should do these mocks by yourself. We are giving you the chance to submit these mocks. It will be corrected, marked, and a report will be given to you, notes that where you need to improve, which parts. Initially, we will give you examples. We will solve together some mini mocks, which will get you used to the exam technique. And then you have to do fully the mock by yourself, 3 hours. At least you should do 3 to 4 mocks fully by yourself. At least like a minimum of 3 to 4 mocks fully by yourself, 3 hours, sit in front of the screen and do it. And try very well to commit to the time frame. Initial mock, I would say, this is my personal experience, you can do it open book, like you can take some from the Berkeley study notes, for instance. For this first mock, you can do it open book, because this will help you connect the answers with the study material. But later on, you should try to, do it by yourself without looking to the book. And you should commit to the time frame of 3 hours, 1 hour per section. This is also very important. Maybe the first also 1-2 mocks, maybe you can exceed the time a little bit, but not too much. Like if you will exceed the 1 hour, then it's 4 hours. This is too much. But you should try to commit at least, like even if it's 10 minutes more, 15 minutes more, it's fine. But you should eventually be able to do it fully within the 3 hours. Now, the pre-scene, of course, as I told you, it's not released. This is the pre-scene of last attempt, which is August. So this is usually how the pre-scene looks like. It will have the name of the company. It was about a delivery company, last attempt, last window. So they will give you the introduction. They will give you about the industry information. Of course, then they will give you all about this company, systems, how they work, the reports, which is the financial reporting, the board of directors, what it constitutes of, the principal risks for it, and financial statements. It will give you the share price, and they always put also competitor in this pre-scene, some competitor to show you a comparison, and plus there is material to help you understand more about what's going on in this industry.